Hello everyone and welcome to an intro to imaginary numbers. An imaginary number is a mathematical term for a number whose square is a negative real number. I is the symbol we use to represent the imaginary number. I is equivalent to the square root of -1. You can also identify as far as I to the fourth power, but nothing more. I squared is equivalent to -1, I cubed is equivalent to -I, and I to the fourth power is equal to 1. Now there's always a reason why something at one symbol is equal to a certain number, whether it be I squared or I to the fourth power. So for I squared is pretty much the square root of -1 times the square root of -1, or the square root of -1 squared, and that is equivalent to -1. So that's how we got the number -1 for I squared. Now for I cubed, it's a bit similar, but also different. So what we have is we can do I squared, which is equivalent to -1. We have that, and also I cubed. That would leave us with I, which is equivalent to the square root of -1. But we're gonna keep it like I because it doesn't make sense to have I cubed as -1 times the square root of -1. So we're going to have a -1 times I, which is equivalent to -I. Though I to the fourth power is very similar to I squared, because it's basically doubled. So we have I squared times I squared, which is -1 times -1, and a negative times a negative equals a positive, and 1 times 1 equals 1. So the answer is 1. Alright, so what happens if I is to the power of 5? Well, this is simple. We just use the equation I to the power of z is equivalent to I to the fourth power to the power of z over 4 times I to the remainder. So in this case it's I to the fifth power equals I to the fourth power times I to the first power. So pretty much we have 1 times I to the first power, which is I to the first power is equivalent to the square root of -1. So the answer would be I to the fifth power is equivalent to the square root of -1. There's a rule you must understand. The square root of -16. Let's choose that. We cannot have a negative in a square root. It's just not solvable. So this is what we're going to do. We're going to split it into the square root of -1 and the square root of 16. -1 is equivalent to I, as we know, and 16 is equivalent to 4. So once we multiply those, we get the answer for I. Now let's do the square root of 64 minus 100. So we combine like terms and we get the square root of -36. So then we split that into the square root of -1 and the square root of 36. So we're going, that's I and 6. So we multiply and we get 6I. There's also another rule you must know. In a fraction, if you have I in a fraction, you cannot have I on the denominator. So let's say we have 1 over 5I. Again, we have an I on the denominator. We can't do that. So we're going to multiply this by I over I. So what would happen is we now have I over 5I squared. And since I squared is equivalent to -1, we have I over 5 times -1. So the answer is I over -5. And pretty much this is the simplified form. Let's do another one. Let's do 6 over 5I plus 6I. So we're going to multiply it by I over I. So we're gonna get 6i over 5i squared plus 6i squared. And I squared is equivalent to -1, so we get 6i over 5, -5 minus 6. So then the answer is 6i over -11. Has been a lesson on an introduction for imaginary numbers. I hope you enjoyed the video and I hope you learned something from it. Thank you very much for watching it and have a good day.